Here are my top waiver picks for Draft FPL Game Week 5. And my first recommendation is going to be Gabriel Jesus. Now, I think he might already have been drafted by quite a few people, but with his injury kind of hampering the start of his season, he might still be available in some people's lists as a potential free agent to pick up for Game Week 5. Obviously scored in Game Week 4 against Manchester United on his return from the bench. I imagine he is going to start as well against Everton away. There is still question marks about his fitness. Obviously came off at half-time during one of Brazil's matches with kind of ice taped around his leg, but I've seen also on Twitter that he is back in training for the national team, so it might just be one to potentially just hold out for at the current time of recording and just wait and see if he is 100% available for that Everton away fixture, because they have been abysmal over the opening couple game weeks. And with Jesus on the pitch, you do feel that Arsenal are like a miles better team, like so much better. We saw it against Manchester United. The impact he had, the way he took his goal as well, was absolutely sublime as well. Over the past 5 game weeks, as you can see, it has been very injury hampered. 1 goal, no assists, okay XG, okay XA, 7 points scored over the opening 4 game weeks. And his expected points is 12.8 over the next couple of weeks. As you can tell, Game Week 5, Everton away, great fixture. Then, you know, Tottenham at home's not the best, but then Bournemouth away after that. I definitely think he's a player that you need to be considering if you have an available slot going in your striker position, and if he's still available in your kind of free agents amongst your mates, amongst your competitors in your draft league. Moving on to my second recommendation, and this one I imagine he is going to be available in a lot of people's leagues. It is Solomon from Spurs. Now, the reason that I've recommended him is obviously at the start of the season he wasn't playing games, he was just coming off the bench, but with this kind of transition and positional rotation of Son to that forward position, Solomon went on the left hand side and had a fantastic game against Spurs, picking up 2 assists, as you can see as well, picking up good underlying data within that game as well. I wouldn't be too worried looking at his expected points for those periods, as I think Draft Hound, the system that I'm using, if you want to go check that out, link to that in the description, but the system that I'm using there, I don't think it's quite calculated that this player is going to be getting minutes on a more regular basis now if he can narrow down that left hand side for himself, which I definitely think is a possibility. There obviously is that kind of risk of rotation, but a lot of people are going to be wanting to target that Sheffield United at home fixture this game week. It's an amazing fixture to kind of grab onto. They've also got some good long-term fixtures, have Spurs as well. They're playing Luton and Fulham after game week 7, so yeah, definitely some really appetizing fixtures. Obviously a lot of people are going to have Maddison and Son already, and if you want a way into that Spurs attack, maybe you've already got Richarlison, you kind of want out of that one, then Solomon definitely offers a really good option, especially if he can grab himself that left hand side, which I definitely think he put a strong case forward to doing with that performance against Burnley. So yeah, it's a bit of a risk, but I think if you want to get yourself into that Spurs attack against one of the worst teams in the league, go for a little bit of a kind of an unknown player. You're fully going to be able to get this guy, I imagine, in most leagues. He's available in mine, as is Jesus as well. So I do imagine Solomon is going to be available in a lot of people's leagues. I think he could be a super explosive asset in Game Week 5 as well. Sheffield United at home, a really good fixture to take full advantage of. You want to try and get a Spurs attacker in there for that fixture. And I think if Solomon is available, he should be the man that you go for. Fabian Schar is the next player that I'm going to recommend you try and pick up this game week. Now, for me, he is my kind of #1 priority target in my kind of draft league. The fixtures coming up for Newcastle are sublime as well. Kieran Trippier's already gone in my league, as I imagine a lot of other people's leagues. Then probably Botman as the second Newcastle defender that a lot of people have picked up, where I think people are missing out on the Fabian Schar kind of hype train. He had the highest XG last season. This year it's not been great, but if you also take a look at Kieran Trippier's data, it's been a little bit dismal. Only 5 points scored for him so far, but his expected points are 15 over the opening couple game weeks. Good predicted points as well. goal in 12.7 predicted points. And as you can see, some amazing fixtures coming up for Newcastle. Game week 5, not the easiest. Brentford at home. Brentford are a really good team. They set up amazingly. But going up to St James's Park might be a little bit more of a difficult test. And you would have to back Newcastle as favourites for that game. Then the Sheffield United and Burnley games I think are fantastic. Sheffield United we've already spoke about at length in the last section. They are a super poor team and a team that I would be looking to target nearly every single game week in this game mode or in regular FPL as well. And then Burnley at home, they haven't been too impressive over the opening couple game weeks. Maybe Vincent Kompany's work some magic over the international break, but I very much doubt it, and I imagine results are going to kind of continue on that downward trend for them unless something changes over that period. So yeah, I think Trippier and Botman are already going to be gone in a lot of people's leagues. A lot of people are going to be looking to jump into this Newcastle team with their good fixtures coming up, and I definitely think Fabian Schar, with his good kind of previous record of picking up goals and good attacking data as well, I definitely think he offers himself as a super nice option that you should be looking to pick up as your waiver transfer this week. Heading into the final section of today's video, I thought we would talk about double game week 7. It is fast approaching and there are players that we want to have in kind of our teams for that game week, especially in the draft mode. It's one of those that you need to be taking full advantage of. I've highlighted 3 players that I'm potentially looking at getting in my team or potentially already have for that game week. I already have Morris. I think I went for him just because he's on penalties. He's a 90-minute man. I've been saying it for quite a while. I'm actually looking to get him into my regular team on FPL as well. Really good data, like I said, on penalties, a 90-minute man, as you can see, leading the way amongst XA of these 3 players. A little bit behind XG for Lyle Foster, but I think Morris will start to pick up. As well, if you want to bring in a Luton player this week and get ahead of the competition, that is definitely something you could do because their fixtures leading into game week 7 are great as well. Game week 5, they take on Fulham, which is a really good fixture. They've got the highest XG conceded in the league at the moment as well. So you definitely could see Luton picking up a positive result in that game. I don't think their performances have been too bad. I think maybe now that they're starting to realise kind of the climate that they're in, the performances that they need to put in to be getting results. And I definitely think they kind of put a really strong show in against West Ham. And I think now they can build on that. Some good fixtures coming up, the double game week as well. Burnley haven't been great, so I definitely would be looking to try and target a couple Luton players to try and get before everyone else tries to clamber on them in game week 7. Morris would be the top one. Obviously not available in my league as I own him. I imagine quite a few other leagues people might have already snapped him up. And if that is the case, maybe Foster is the option that you go for. He's probably been Burnley's brightest player over the opening couple game weeks. 2 goals for him, good XG. If he can continue the strong performances, he definitely warrants a place in a game week 7 team, to be honest. And then the final player that I have recommended is Bell from Luton. He's played every single minute of the season so far. I imagine not a lot of people have gone for him either. I imagine he is quite available in my league as well. With the double game week coming up, might be a nice little cheeky transfer in game week 7. If you want to get ahead of the curve as well, like I said, with Luton players, their game week fixtures for game week 5 and 6 are pretty decent as well. So, you know, you wouldn't be opposed to playing them in either of those. Those were my top waiver transfers for this game week. Let me know what you think of them down in the comment section below. If you need any help with your team or potential transfers for this week, leave them in the comment section as well, as I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy the rest of your day.